Today, we're jumping into a force that is totally rewriting the rules of business as we know it: digital entrepreneurship. And look, this isn't just about selling a few things online. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the very DNA of what a company is. So let's kick things off with a pretty huge question. How is it possible for a tiny team, sometimes just one person with a laptop, to build a business that can reach millions of people all over the globe almost overnight? It sounds kind of like a magic trick, right? But it's not. It's the new reality. And the answer isn't some minor update to the old way of doing things. Nope, it is a completely new rulebook. The principles that built the industrial giants of the 20th century, they're being replaced by something faster, way more agile, and global from day one. So let's crack open this new rulebook and see what's actually inside. First up, what exactly is this new breed of business? What makes it tick? Okay, so at its very core, digital entrepreneurship is all about building businesses where technology, things like software, platforms, or AI, isn't just a tool they use to get the job done. No. The technology is the business. It's completely woven into the value they create and how they deliver it. So just how different are we talking here? Let's actually put a digital venture and a traditional one side by side and see what happens. And wow, the difference is night and day. A traditional business's main asset is something physical, a factory, a storefront. For a digital venture, it's code. The time it takes to get off the ground just collapses from potentially years down to mere weeks. And the reach? Well, it's the difference between opening a single shop in your town versus being available to the entire planet on day one. And these differences have some massive strategic implications. High scalability means you can serve 1 million customers for almost the same cost as serving 10. Global reach means your market and your competition are worldwide right from the start. Your operations are data-driven, which means you're making decisions based on what real users are doing, not just on a gut feeling. And modularity, this one's cool. It means you can build your business like you're playing with Legos, snapping in the best tools and services as you need them. So what are these Legos? What's actually in the modern founder's toolkit that makes all of this possible? Well, it really comes down to these 5 core building blocks that stack on top of each other. First, you've got digital platforms like app stores that create instant marketplaces. Then there's cloud computing, which gives you massive server power on demand. That's a game changer. It slashes startup costs from millions down to just a few bucks. Data and AI act as the brains of the operation, personalizing everything and automating decisions. IoT connects the physical world to the digital one, and blockchain allows for brand new ways to create trust and make transactions without needing a middleman. Now, these tools aren't just for building cool companies. They are actively reshaping our entire economies and societies. The impact is just massive. For one thing, digital entrepreneurship creates what they call gazelles. These are super high-growth companies that become a major source of new, high-skilled jobs in fields like software development, product management, and data science. They are a powerful engine for economic growth, for sure. They're also the main driver of what economists call creative destruction. I know, it sounds intense, right? But think about how streaming services completely rewired the entire media world, or how ride-sharing apps just turn the century-old taxi industry on its head. Digital ventures are always challenging the old way of doing things. But maybe the most important thing here is how all this democratizes opportunity. Because the old barriers to entry, like the huge cost of servers or getting access to a global market, are so low now. A small team in one country can realistically compete with a giant corporation in another. It's a fundamental leveling of the playing field. And this points to another really crucial advantage: resilience. When the world suddenly changes, and we've all seen that happen, businesses built on a digital core can pivot so much faster. They can switch to remote work, adapt their products, or change their delivery models in ways that traditional companies just can't. It makes them far more agile and, frankly, more durable. Okay, but it's not all easy. This new world is not without its own set of very complex rules and very real challenges. The playbook has changed, and you know what? So have the responsibilities. So the new way of building is all about being lean and agile. You can forget the old 100-page business plan. The focus now is on building a minimum viable product, an MVP. That's just a basic first version with enough features to be useful. You get it into the hands of real users, and then you just continuously learn and tweak it based on their feedback. The whole mantra is to learn fast and don't be afraid to pivot when you need to. But all this power brings immense responsibility. Digital entrepreneurs have to navigate some huge challenges. They become stewards of massive amounts of user data, which of course creates serious cybersecurity and privacy risks. They have to think about the digital divide, making sure their tech doesn't leave huge groups of people behind. And they face these profound ethical questions about how to use AI responsibly. Which really brings us to this final thought. The tools to build a global business are more accessible than they have ever been in human history. Individuals now have the power to shape our future in ways that used to be reserved for giant corporations or even governments. So the real question isn't just, can they build it? It's what kind of world will they build? And that's something for all of us to think about.